So I kind of want to talk about this underappreciated little mod called Bound Armory. So what this mod does is it lets you summon a whole host of different bound weapons. So right now, for example, I am summoning a bound spear. So it comes with an MCM menu. I'll kind of show you guys. If I go to Bound Armory here, as you can see, I have two different, so I can do bound short spear. There's different things like hatchet, club, hammer, all sorts of cool different weapons you can use bound weapons. It's made in assistance with the very, very good heavy armory mod. So again, so you do have some longer weapons, and here we have glaives, halberds, scythes. So again, really, really cool. And you can your bow you can change to a crossbow as well. Now, this also does some other cool things. So for example, damage settings, there's a scaling effect. You can turn this on and off through MCM, and you also change the weapon school. So as long as you have the Soul Stealer perk, your bound weapon will actually do elemental damage. Well, magic damage, and you kind of choose what damage it does. What I really like about this is that it's quite versatile, because technically, you know, you can choose to switch your bound weapon to anything, and you can choose the elemental type to anything. So again, so if you're doing a playthrough, in which case you're not carrying 20 different weapons at once, and you just want to kind of like go to a fight, prepare your enemies, prepare for what your enemies are, choosing the right weapon and the right, elemental damage. That's actually a really cool way of playing the game, and I'd say that's quite immersive. I mean, if you're this tough conjurer that can make, host of different Drumore and stuff, and different storm attacks, there's no reason why you can't conjure different sort of bound weapons with different sort of elemental kind of effects. So in this case, I just have a regular bound spear, and I'm just going to duel him, kind of show you guys. So the spear has superior reach. I'm not like an actual melee fighter. I have very low health. The Drumore will actually kick my ass normally. I just have to be really careful to not let him get hidden. And the bound spear is actually my favorite because the reach is really good, allowing me to zone out the AI. But I'll show you some other ones. So we'll do another Drumore Lord. We'll do bound. Was it the bound halberd? So again, the halberd's a bit longer than the two-handed swords. It also swings really slowly, as you can see. God. Holy shit. Well, I guess I'm not so great at two-handed as I am at one-handed. But now, there are some criticisms of this mod, and I'll kind of explain. So the first thing is, obviously, tempering is quite more powerful than bound weapons. These bound weapons will be about the same power as Daedric, a bit higher with the scaling, but even with the damage scaling, it's really not that much extra damage. But one advantage bound weapons have is obviously the weight. The weightless, you don't use as much energy and stamina and power attacks. Now, one thing is that the criticism is that obviously with regular weapons you can temper them, all the way to legendary you have vast more damage. So what I do is I actually don't play with smithing and tempering and enchanting because I feel like they're overpowered and it greatly breaks the balance of the game. What I find is when I tempered all my equipment to legendary, I'm forced to just raise my difficulty level to have any kind of relevant difficulty. So what was the point? I mean, I might as well just not temper them, just play with stock weapons, and this way also means I can use stuff like destruction, I can use stuff like bound weapons, and it's really, really kind of fun way of doing things. The second thing, if you really want to be the power gamer to maximize all your stats, in Sky Tweak, which you can do, and I'm pretty sure, I mean, if you don't have Sky Tweak, you probably get it. In the Magic School, you can simply just go here, see, look, you can just raise your damage to make it competitive with regular legendary weapons. And I think that's a reasonable way of doing things. Okay, now, so would this kind of be, obviously this is very suitable for a conjurer or a magic user hybrid. But what if you're just like a regular kind of two-handed guy or regular warrior guy without much magic? Well, again, that also comes in Sky. Not only can you change the damage, you can also change, conjuration scale cost, conjuration scale magnitude. You can just kind of lower it, so even a level, even someone with no magicka can cast these bound weapons. And now, why would you want to do that over kind of just using regular weapons? Let's suppose you're playing like a pure warrior character or a pure ninja character. Why would you want to use these bound weapons over regular weapons? Obviously, we don't have magicka and going to Sky Tweak to kind of make it easier to cast these spells. Well, the first thing is obviously versatility, because right now, by simply going to MCM menu, and again, I consider this as not really an exploit because, like I said, it does make immersive sense that if you're a mage of some sort, or you have the ability to kind of change out your bound weapons on the fly. So you can choose to bound a short spear, or you can choose to change bound, or you can change it up to, let's say, bound hammer, which is also a pretty cool weapon. Or again, you can change your two-handed to either a glaive, and again, you have all this versatility, and plus you can change up your elemental damage tools, which is also another cool thing. Again, I mean, you know, with in the regular gameplay, I mean, unless you're carrying 5 different weapons, you can't really have this much versatility. And this is kind of like, oh, I analyze my opponent's weaknesses and choose the right weapon for the job kind of playthrough. And again, you probably want some difficulty mods going with this to make this more engaging. And I think a lot of people are going to want to do this. If you're like the whole study your enemy, pick the right weaknesses. Now, again, I'm not going to show you all of these because, but like for example, you have the hammer. It looks like a Daedric two-handed one, but just shorter. So it's a bit slower and everything else. Personally, I don't like it because it doesn't allow me to zone out my opponent. I find the bound spear is really strong because, again, it's good to zone people out. Because right now, in here, I pretty much have to kind of... I mean, this guy's way stronger. So being forced to kind of get into close combat with the Warlord, not really... Oh my god. Okay, he's gonna kick my ass. And amongst other things. Again, you also have bound woodcutter's axe. Probably the least kind of interesting one. It's an axe, but it's kind of chill. It saves some carry weight. And again, there's like mods or playstyles where you lower your carry weight. This also benefits because you don't have to carry so many heavy weapons. Because carrying a long sword and a big warhammer, it should take up a lot of carrying space. So if you're playing a mod that kind of limits your carrying weight, this really helps. Okay, this guy's really good at blocking. This guy's gonna kick my ass.
I'm destroying you.
Oh no! Whoa! BB! Whoa!
You are weak.
Wow! My win. Okay, I'm just gonna show the bound crossbow. Okay, so this is... Okay, so that looks pretty badass, honestly. But actually, this is actually pretty enjoyable. Let me just try to use this. I wonder how much power... So we'll give ourselves a little badass when we look at it. Again, it seems to... Like, sometimes it doesn't... Yeah, this has never happened. I don't know, maybe because I was playing on counter so much, but it's never had this bug before. So I kind of want to demonstrate the MCM's elemental damage thing. So let's just change something. Okay, we have absorb magicka, damage health. So let's force. Let's just kind of play around with it. Oh my god, that's ridiculous. That much pushback? It pretty much allows you to zone anybody out. So let's change this up a bit. So force is really, really fun. And I mean, I guess it's not that powerful because if you're a dedicated melee user, you probably want to keep the enemy closer rather than pushing them away. But obviously I'm not, and I'm just using it to zone people out. Let's just do elemental and see what that does. It doesn't specify what element it is. Looks like it's shot. Although I find the glide just better overall because again the superior reach is devastating. I have to say that's a pretty cool. I mean, that's a cool looking halberd. That's a very cool looking halberd. Now, let's just try something else. Let's try a different weapon because I think you guys want to see something else. We will do a punch. I guess an ancient Duloc. I'm not sure what that is. So let's just see if that's. Looks like a really short reach. I probably can't be the Dromorlord with it. Honestly, that's really fast. Okay, that's actually okay-ish. Again, I probably prefer something more realistic looking, but you know, I do think a lot of people are going to find that fun. And part of this is that you can just change things up. You know, unlike other mods like Heavy Armory, where you have to find these on level lists or build themselves, this you download the mod and you can play with these weapons. And I think that's a really fun thing about it. Okay, so let's try a two-handed one. We will do a quarterstaff. So apparently this is a really fast weapon. So let's just see how much fun that is. Like, again, this fight's actually a lot harder than it looks. I know I'm making it look pretty easy. I notice I don't think the Dromorlord can land even single attack. I've been so careful not to get hit. Okay, well, maybe not that careful. Generally, like, a single power attack from the Dromorlord can easily kill me. Just even a single hit connected power attack. Like, that wasn't honestly, the quarterstaff is kind of cool. It's just so fast. I think a lot of people don't like it. It reminds me of a long time. Okay, so let's try another one. I guess there's a katana. I'm actually doing quite a bit for someone that isn't like dedicated to the build. It seems really fast. The katana seems swing. Oh man. Oh, short sword. That's also from Heavy Armory. And we're gonna change up. We're not gonna fight Dromorlord. We are going to fight a werewolf. If you're wondering where the werewolf's from, so this guy. Oh my god. That attack speed. You know, I think the werewolf, I'd rather fight him using superior reach. Or this guy. So this guy is a orc with a long hammer. Honestly, short is actually pretty good on a lightweight weapon. Although I find there isn't that much reason to use it because obviously down weapons are weightless. Also, they don't take up any space carrying capacity. Okay, so let's change up our pacing. Let's fight someone with a shield. We will use the... What weapon should I use? We'll just check something else out. Let's do bound... a trident.
That spell looks dangerous. Keep your distance.
It's really slow. The reach seems to be hard. I do think if you're using the force enchantment, it gets ridiculous. Then you can use it to knock them out with the glaive or something. Okay, this guy's really good at blocking. Oh my god! Yeah, see what I mean when these? Yeah, see what I mean when I get insta killed like that. Anyways, I kind of wanted to show you a bit more action with the mod, and I think it's really cool. Please check out this mod, guys. It's so much fun. And even if you're not going to use it for a playthrough, even just dueling and having all this different variety of cool looking weapons to use, I think even that is kind of fun. I mean, what else mod can you really just change up your, not only your weapon, and also change up your enchantment on the fly like that? I mean, I can't really, right? I mean, if you have a, lightning longsword, that doesn't, you can't suddenly turn that into a halberd that, absorbs magicka. Because, again, this game, this lets you do that. And let's say if you're fighting a mage, you can quickly switch to absorb magicka and use it to kind of, stab daggers at people, or short swords as a mage and steal other magic. Again, these are kind of potential kind of tactics you can use with it, and it's definitely I don't think it's lore unfriendly either, right? Because if you're a cool conjurer, I do think you should have the ability to kind of switch out your weapon enchantments and your weapon type on the fly. So let's say if you're fighting a bunch of necromancers, maybe you want to use a short sword that absorbs magicka. Again, just a potential way of playing this game. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's really cool. Please check these out, guys.